trade. All the Arab traders or raiders, either way, had to bring lot of these slaves, and at convenient places they were given the freedom.
Well, I've just returned from India, where I came face to face with an African tribe that lives deep in the heart of an Indian forest. Come with me into the world of the cities who live in abject poverty, shunned and almost forgotten. My search for these Africans, probably Kenyans, started right here in Nairobi, Kenya.
After waiting patiently for 3 months for my visa to be processed, we finally leave for India in search of a community that Indians do not like to talk much about. Our first stop is Hyderabad, southern India.
Well, this is a busy street in Hyderabad town. Indian people moving from one point to another, moving goods as well from one point to another. But about 800 kilometers deep in the jungle in southern India lives a community known as the Seti. The Seti people, it is believed, were brought here during the slave trade and have since made India their second home.
It's a long self-drive from Hyderabad further south to Karnataka, where the Setis have lived for centuries. Although the roads are in remarkable conditions, it's certainly a long drive. Day meets night, and it's well over 20 hours now and counting. With temperatures soaring as high as 42 degrees Celsius, we are forced to adapt literally, occasionally stopping by the roadside for a bite. Eventually, we arrive at Halial town. Because of wildlife roaming the forests at night, the village is usually asleep by 7 p.m. The following morning, we continue with our journey to the little Africa in India. And not before long, a place where old and new ways meet. Our first encounter with the cities. We encounter more cities as we make our entry into the forests. School children on their way to school. We are now deep in the forest and eventually arrive at Gadoli, one of the villages that hosts the Sidi community.
Wow, these guys look like us, man. These people are it's got dreadlocks.
Look at this man, the village headman. What about this lady? She could be anywhere in Kenya. This young man could also be plowing his fields in any corner of Kenya.
Always good to let me from Africa because they used to see our people and your people here.
What about this gentleman? What about this lady holding her baby? And Maggie, a Sidi mother of one in her early 20s?
I'm Kenyan, like African.
We have no doubt these people are Africans, possibly Kenyans.
This one looks like my brother. This one just looks like
Some people look like them.
Exactly, yes.
Tomorrow, in this series, the African tribe in India, we tell you how the Sedis have gone against all odds to preserve their African traditions throughout generations, tucked in remote villages in India, almost forgotten. Most Sedis are struggling at the margins of Indian society. The Sedis, whose population stands at between 50,000 and 60,000 in a nation of over 1 billion people, are the least visible part of a huge Africa diaspora.
When I'm in village, I feel always I'm Indian. But when I go, I cross 60 kilometers from my place, then people will make you think you are a foreigner.
The Sedis, whose features are remarkably African, live across India, where we came face to face with abject poverty. Impoverished and outcasted, they have remained racially intact.
My sister daughter, I can marry. Now they stop because that disease and their close relationship, some problems, and physically some problems, and that's why they stopped that. Now we always see, because community is big, now we can we can go 4-5 steps back and we can marry.
The Sedis have found their space in the complex India caste system.
Still today they use us like untouchable, it is there. And it is not, you cannot completely wash out from Indian culture, it is very tough. Among them, they still today they use like untouchable among them. Then what?
Their women earn extremely low wages as housemaids in the towns surrounding the Seti neighborhoods. The men mostly work as farm helps for the Indians and ironically are regarded as encroachers. For centuries, they have lived in the forest, unknown to many across the rest of the world, shunned and almost forgotten. The Sedis' arrival can be traced back to the 10th century, when many came aboard the dhows of Arab merchants who traded with kingdoms along India's west coast. The Arabs are believed to have captured the Sedis after raids on coastal Bantu villages in East Africa. The Sedis were very successful as fighters, sometimes usurping power from the rulers. Between the 18th and 19th centuries, during the plagues, they escaped into the forest and settled near water catchment areas where they still live to date.
Historically speaking, they are from East Africa, and during slavery they were brought to Goa. From Goa they migrated to the forest of Karnataka, and they have been facing a lot of social, political and economic injustice.
Well, it is now raining in this village called the Gardoli village, located in Halial town, in the middle of this first forest in Karnataka, South India. And this really is the place that the Seti people call home. They came here many years, hundreds of years back, were brought here by the slave traders, and they settled here. They've managed to adapt to the local customs. They do really speak the local language. But of great interest is the fact that they've managed to preserve part of their strong African culture.
They offer their devotional songs to Baba Gaur, the 15th century saint known to have powers that can cure people of their illnesses. The term Goma is believed to be derived from the Ngoma drumming and dance forms of the Bantus in East Africa.
Siddhis most probably have come from East Africa.
For all I know, they could be Jaluos or Kikuyu or the Mijike.
Tomorrow, in the third part of the ongoing series, The African Tribe in India, I will take you inside the uncertain world of the Seti people, the attitudes and prejudices they have to encounter every day of their lives as they struggle to survive. A few records that exist present a picture of oppression and ill-treatment of the Siddhis. These traits still exist with this community. Juge is one of the few Siddhis who have secured a job in government, and he shares his experiences with us.
After 12 years working with them, somebody last year is asking me, you are from which country? I told, you are insulting me.
Really?
Yeah, one fellow is working for government means that is he belongs to that country.
Are you African or Indian? I pose that question to him.
Heart says Indian, mind says African.
ये हिंदुस्तान है, बहुत दूर है अफ्रीका से. हम इधर काम करेंगे अभी, फिर एक महीने के बाद वापस जाएगी अफ्रीका से. हम हिंदी नहीं जानता है पूरा, लेकिन थोड़ा सा.
Over the years, these prejudices have worked to further alienate the Siddhis.
So a Siddhi mother, when the child dies for some reason, wails for days that you come back as a Siddhi. Don't be born into another caste or community or into another religion or faith. You will be reborn as a Siddhi. That's the way you will get the best of the world.
Consequently, the Siddhis have distanced themselves from the larger society by establishing independent communities in the remote areas like Gardoli village.
The Siddhi would be below the untouchables. In other words, in terms of social structure, they are at the bottom of the pile. And for that reason, they would have lots of problems.
David Bastion is the grandson to the village headman. He recently dropped out of an engineering class in Tamil Nadu due to lack of money.
So I used to think that in Africa so many people like us, they are in good positions. But in our India there is nobody like that. All are farmers.
He would have been in school, but he's tilling the family land. Forget that they still have no title deeds. He may not know what the future holds for him, but he's aware his ancestors originally came from Africa.
British used to bring people to work. So we think that we came from them. They bought us for working, and they went back. So they forgot to carry us. So they left us here.
The Siddhis have been branded as incapable of intellectual endeavors, only talented in music and sports. Bosco Kawesi, a Ugandan who interacted with the Siddhis while studying in India, is president of Siddhi Educational Welfare Society, an NGO that empowers the Siddhis in the area of education.
When I came to do my case study, I came to know that not even a single person was educated. Majority were just drop out from 3rd and 4th standard in local schools. And they were just working in rich men's, like girls, housemaids, the rest of the people, coolie workers. So that touched me a lot.
The forgotten tribe may be poor, but their incredible ability to keep their most precious resource, optimism, is remarkable to say the least.
When I completed my 10th standard, I never thought that I would go further. I was really stuck up with my studies. but I got some assistance from here and there, and I was able to complete my +1, +2. Once I graduated, I thought that I will not give up until I finish my master's.
Just 8 years ago, the Indian government put Siddhis and the scheduled tribes so as to empower them constitutionally. Most of these policies remain in paper.
They are trying their level best to send something to develop people, but in between there is system until it won't reach.
Yeah, the government of India actually has done a lot, and but what I would like them to do is to try and make the reservation realistic. In the sense, for example, for professional courses, they always require you to pay. First you end in claim. If I don't have money, how I can pay?
The Siddhis continue to survive, barely existing, tucked away in the little Africa in India. Is it time to go home now? Tomorrow, in the final part of the series African Tribe in India, we explore the possibilities of the Siddhis returning back to Africa. The Siddhis carried with them their exceptionally rich musical tradition and kept it alive and flourishing in India, unknown to the world, including even Indians themselves. Today, they are coming out of the forest.
Obama is America president, and America, you see that Carl is Ben Johnson and someone playing for Manchester, and they made our prestige a little bit up.
Maggie is in her early 20s. The idea to travel back to Africa, where they originated from, has crossed her mind many times.
Maybe I'm Kenyan, like African. No, we can't live because we didn't have so many monies and all to go there. That's why we are staying here only.
Daniel Parasu, the village headman, seems enthusiastic when I ask him to accompany me back to Africa. Santan Birji Sidi, who has just finished his Masters of Commerce degree, hopes to enroll for his doctorate. He has Africa in his future plans.
If we work there, it's like we are contributing towards our country, our forefathers' country. Besides that, we are living in our forefathers' land. When we go there, that's the only time we will be able to express the feelings.
Most Siddhis in Karnataka are Christians. They receive spiritual guidance from the local pastor, Hollinston D'Souza, who thinks their connection with Africa has faded.
They are foreigners to Africa now, not foreigners to India, because they are well settled, entered into the culture of India, and very loving people. As in, if they love the person, they are ready to give their life.
The Siddhis have adopted the language and culture of their hosts to such an extent that they would find it difficult to integrate into African society, according to Professor Ashish Nandi.
They bring to South Asia their experience of living here for centuries with an African heritage. And to Africa it will bring a new kind of insider's view of South Asia.
When the idea to relocate to Africa was first mooted, the Prime Minister, then Indira Gandhi, encouraged the Siddhis to stay on, referring to them as part of their Indian family.
If some individual Siddhis want to go there, he goes on his own. Makes it his home. Maybe some of them will go there, and there will be a different kind of homecoming than sending their lock, stock and barrel to Africa to settle down. Because that kind of settling down, the kind of settling down they have done in India takes not less than 500 years.
If they transplant them back to Africa, they will not feel comfortable. They will probably have even more problems.
The Sidis have for centuries preserved their native African heritage and have mingled with local influences.
Their myths, their legends, their grandparents' tales, the stories that their parents told them, the lullabies they sing, they are in Indian languages. How can you wipe that out and start with a clean slate?
As my interview with Professor Nandi came to an end, I asked him for his final comments, and this is what he had to say.
I feel proud that you have taken the initiative and not some European or North American, West European or North American anthropologist doing it as a part of his or her studies. I think that this kind of initiative is something which is required in a larger scale, and in this sense you are doing pioneering work according to me. I am exceedingly proud of it, frankly speaking.
Could the presence of the Sidi be the beginning of a wonderful phase of history? A symbolic representation of African Indians, the Africa tribe in India. Well, filing this report came with certain challenges. Take a look at this one.
To the local customs, and they also speak the local language. But some of the African heritage that they've managed to preserve include music and dance.
Tomboya, City TV.